would like to request Mr. Ahmed Zafar, Chief Growth Officer of TCS, to please come forward and share your thoughts with us on potential for transportation of goods between Pakistan and Kazakhstan.
Assalamu alaikum ji. Ahmed Zafar, Chief Growth Officer, TCS Holdings. The previous speaker definitely put a wind in my sails. Thank you very much. Optimism rarely found in Pakistan nowadays, but I applaud you on the way that you've delivered your way forward. The subject I have today is more mundane, not very exciting, but nevertheless potential for transportation of goods between Pakistan and Kazakhstan. This is just a brief overview of what TCS is. Normally, TCS is considered to be a courier company. We've graduated from being a courier company into a multimodal logistics company, and I've got some figures here for you. We've got approximately 4,500 tracked vehicles. We do 375,000 shipments daily. We travel 300 million plus kilometers throughout Pakistan. We have 970 plus express centers, etc., etc., etc. So, next time you have more than just a courier requirement, give us a call. We'll be able to meet your requirements. Supply chains are under pressure. There is no doubt about it. Especially the Central Asian republics, who supply chains are under pressure, especially the Central Asian republics, and we've talked about Kazakhstan to be a landlocked country, no doubt. And here you see that the normal supply chains into the Central Asian region is becoming more and more choked. Now, this is more because of geopolitics than anything else. On the northwest, you have the Ukraine problem. On the eastern borders, you've got the COVID problem. And in the south, you've got the Iran problem. Now, all of this is adversely affecting the productivity and the GDP growth of the Central Asian republics. Now, TCS has basically identified 3 different routes into Kazakhstan. One is the route that we've talked about via China. It's a route that goes from Sost into Kashgar, and then from Kashgar it goes to the China-Kazakh border, or Kyrgyz or Alashankal. That's one way to get into Almaty. The second way is to go via Bishkek. Again, you go via Sost into Kashgar, and from Kashgar you go to the Chinese-Kyrgyz border, which is called Erkeshtam or Torugurt. This is the second route, but that is 2,740 kilometers. And the first one was 4,560 kilometers. The one that we have been doing as TCS over the past 1 year is this one. We have been going from Pakistan to Peshawar, to Kabul, to Heratan, to Samarkand, and to Tashkent. That has been the route that we've been taken over the past 1 year. But what has happened over the past 2 months is that we've also started transshipments at Tashkent and now taking loads into Almaty as well. So as we speak, we have 3 containers which are on the way to Almaty from Karachi. And in the absence of Kazakh-Pakistan transit trade agreement, we are compelled to do transshipment in Uzbekistan. Now, transshipment basically adds to the cost, and it adds to the journey time as well. So my request to His Excellency is, if you could request our government to expedite this as soon as possible in the benefit of transit trade into Kazakhstan. So TCS has executed or is in the process of 22 TIR and non-TIR movements to and from Uzbekistan. We have done destination and transit trades, and we have done 3 movements into Almaty via Tashkent. Now, both of these movements have been done using the Pak-Afghan Corridor. And I think we've dispelled the myth of Afghanistan being an unsafe corridor. I've heard some speakers talk about Afghanistan being a security risk. I've heard people talk about what will happen to our goods once they are transported via Afghanistan. From experience, 22 round shipments into Uzbekistan via the Trans-Afghan Corridor, alhamdulillah, nothing has happened. Now we must understand why these things are not happening. Afghanistan has only one source of revenue, and that source of revenue is transit trade. If you take away transit trade from Afghanistan, there is no revenue, period. So Afghanistan, in the meetings that we've had with their officials, both in Pakistan and in Afghanistan, they have unequivocally told us that whatever may happen, transit trade will continue. And the more the Central Asian republics look at the Trans-Afghan Corridor, the more revenues they are expected to generate. So it is in the interest of Afghanistan to have a safe corridor for the Central Asian republics. Now, if you could just click on the Afghan corridor, I just want to show you a video of what happens when we travel through Afghanistan. There are some other gory details which I'd rather not share here, but I can tell you the first pilot that we did, it was just amazing. And the kind of cooperation that we got from the government of Pakistan, the government of Uzbekistan, and the government of Afghanistan, it was commendable. And when we had the first pilot run into Tashkent, I happened to be there, and I was sitting with the chairman of the International Freight Forwarders Association, and he looked at me and he said, "How is your truck here? Because you don't have a transit trade agreement." So what had happened was, when this Pakistani truck, the first truck ever to cross the border, arrived at Heratan, the Uzbek customs officials didn't know what to do. So the best thing they did was release the truck. Right? So it's been a fantastic journey, and as you'll see, we've done 22 TIR and non-TIR movements. We've taken everything from sports goods to pharmaceutical products to bandages to transportation of palm oil, air conditioners, medical equipment. All of this is happening. And I'm also happy to tell you that we've also opened up an office in Uzbekistan. I've just come back 3 days ago. We've formally inaugurated the office. It's not a rep office. It's what we call an LLC, a limited liability company, because we intend to do payments from there because of the transshipments. Now, if we do have this Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement with Kazakhstan, it means that the transshipments that we are having in Kazakhstan today will not happen. The truck can go directly from Karachi, I'm talking about TIR, not right, from Karachi to Tashkent without the containers being opened. It will save on your journey time, and it will definitely save upon your cost as well. But more importantly, what happens when you are non-TIR, you have breakage and pilferage. So every time a truck will cross a border point, the customs officer will open, because he has to, the container to inspect. Now, when he opens the container, what happens is he has no control over the way the goods are offloaded. If you have somebody who doesn't really know how to use the machines, he'll break the container, he'll break the cartons, he'll take out something. So the average cost that our customers have told us is 5 to 7% of the cargo value is lost to breakage and pilferage. So we normally take approximately $150,000 worth of goods from Karachi to Tashkent. So if you take 5% on that, that's $7,500. But when you do it in TIR, this doesn't happen. So even if the customer, and I'm giving you my trade secrets, if the customer pays us more than what he's paying the open market, net, he's still saving $6,000 to $7,000 per shipment. So the same thing would apply to businessmen in Kazakhstan as well. And we are also working very closely with the Ministry of Commerce. We are working with the Federal Board of Revenue. We are trying to work with the Ministry of Transport. But all of this all adds up, right? This is the current situation that we have with Kazakhstan today. We have $61 million, which are the exports from Pakistan. This is the 2020 figures. And the exports from Kazakhstan to Pakistan is approximately 16.4 million. Now, we talked about GDPs, we talked about GDP per capita. Now, GDP per capita in Pakistan is approximately, I think, $1,700 to $2,000 at PPP, right? The GDP per capita PPP in Kazakhstan, can anybody take a guess? It's more than $9,700. So you're talking about 18 million people versus 220 million people who basically have more, 5 times or 10 times more the disposable income that we have. That's a very attractive market for Pakistani exporters. And I think the actual numbers of the Pakistani market of 225 or 230 million represents a very good opportunity for Kazakh businesses in Pakistan as well. So when we talk about regional connectivity, it's just not opening up a trade route. It's basically accessing each other's markets, marketing your products, marketing your services. And if you look at the figures over here, it really doesn't do justice to the potential that both countries have. The linchpin to the entire connectivity, Your Excellency, is Afghanistan. If we have an Afghanistan, stable Afghanistan, we have regional connectivity. My friend from NLC talked about going via Iran and via Turkmenistan. The Uzbeks are wary of the Iran-Turkmenistan route because of the bureaucracy and the red tape. It takes approximately 1 week for Uzbek importers to clear their documents at Chabahar or Bandar Abbas. And then from there, it takes another 4 weeks from the port to Tashkent via Turkmenistan. Why? Because Turkmenistan is a problem, right? It is a problem at times. It arbitrarily closes its borders with its neighboring countries. It places new restrictions, etc., etc., etc. But more importantly, when you take goods from Iran into Central Asia, the gauge of the railway changes. The Central Asian rail gauge is different, and the Iranian railway is different, and China is different. So a lot of transshipments take place. If you go via Baku, which is on the west, again, multimodal transport. You have to get the ferry, you've got to get the train. So we personally think that the best way into Kazakhstan and the Central Asian republics is the Afghan Corridor, right? There may be doubts about the veracity of this statement. There may be doubts about how secure Afghanistan is. But like I said, we've done 22. We've got another 100 in the process. So I think by the end of this financial year, we should have done approximately 1,000 movements via the Trans-Afghan Corridor. So I think it's a point to ponder. TCS is also a business development enabler. If you look at the TCS platform, we have approximately 18,000 corporate customers. And these customers are all across different sectors: textiles, pharmaceuticals, auto, services. We are into e-commerce because we have the last mile delivery capabilities. We are into travel and tours. We provide supply chain solutions to our customers. And of course, we have a nationwide reach and coverage whereby we touch approximately 2,000 service locations within Pakistan. So, I mean, we're everywhere. And I think TCS is arguably the most visible brand in Pakistan. Now, Kazakh business houses can use our TCS platform to access a marketplace of 220 million people. Similarly, Pakistani businesses can access our platform to access your markets over there. And then there is a trade flow. There are associations. I don't know how it works in Kazakhstan, but I know for a fact that in Uzbekistan they have these associations which are mandated by the government. Like you have Uztrade. So Uztrade basically is an interface between this SME community and the rest of the international markets, whereby they enable the access of those SMEs to international markets. Then you have the Uzbek Food Association, which is then you have the Uzbek Exporters Association. So we have got into contact with them, we have signed MOUs with them, and now they are reaching out to us on our platform. So we offer the same services to Kazakh businesses. We offer the Afghan Corridor to Kazakh businesses, both for destination trade and for transit trade. We have problems. When I say we, I mean Pakistan has problems. We talked about Torkham. Torkham is a big problem. Our ports are a big problem. We talked about Gwadar. Gwadar is non-operational as far as I'm concerned. So when we talk about these tens of millions of transit trade which is expected to flow through this corridor, I leave everybody with the question, is Pakistan prepared for this? We've heard some great things about connectivity and Silk Route, etc., etc. But it takes our truck at Torkham at times 8 hours to enter the V-box system. Do you know how long it takes the Afghans? 2 hours. Asikuda. So these are the questions that we should be asking ourselves. Are we prepared? Can we take on this responsibility of transit trade from the Central Asian republics? and whatever His Excellency is doing may go for naught because we are not prepared to do that transit trade. So I will ask the concerned stakeholders to sit down, and somebody talked about a public-private partnership, public-private sector discussions. The private sector must be brought on the table. The public sector or the government cannot make these kind of decisions in isolation. So as Pakistan's largest logistics company in the private sector, we extend our cooperation, we extend our expertise, we extend our capacity to sit with the government and find these solutions. Thank you.